Africa is the cradle of civilization and humanity. It's the place where the first ever human was born, and due to this, it holds various mysterious and beyond understandable secrets. It's a place like no one else because of the ancient hidden knowledge available there, which only a selected few people know today. Anything considered impossible and a miracle in any other place in the world is just a simple act in Africa. For example, there is a mysterious town in Africa where the elders have secret knowledge about making a deceased person alive. In other words, if a person dies, his family is forbidden to mourn and the news is given to no one. After a few days, that deceased person comes back and lives like a normal person. This is happening in the Plateau state of Nigeria and has remained undocumented until now. So, how do dead people come back to this community and what rituals are performed for this purpose? Welcome to a new episode of Black Afric Diary, a channel where we talk about Black African history, culture, arts, and civilization. It's a place where you will see the real picture of Black Africa, its stories, and the events defining it. In this episode, we will tell you about a town where people die and come back up to 7 times. Let's get started. In Plateau State, Nigeria, among the Nyas people, there exists a mystifying belief known as the Tuput phenomenon, a rare spiritual and cultural practice where individuals possess the unusual ability to die and come back to life, not just once, but as many as 7 times. This belief has fascinated both locals and outsiders alike. However, it's important to note that this is not reincarnation in the traditional sense, where someone is born into a new body. Instead, the Tuput phenomenon involves the resurrection of the same physical person who had previously died, coming back to life as a fully grown adult. He is not born again. Instead, his dead body becomes alive. The belief in Tuput is not open to everyone within the Nyas community, but is thought to be an ancient and secretive practice passed down through generations to only a select few. These individuals are believed to be chosen and are said to hold the knowledge and spiritual powers needed to return to life after death. This ability to cheat death is viewed as a gift or power bestowed upon them, allowing them to come back from the brink of death up to 7 times. According to the stories shared within the community, those who possess this power never truly leave when they die. Instead, their spirits linger close to the physical world, awaiting the right conditions to re-enter their bodies and return to life. It is a deeply held belief that they are in a spiritual world, waiting for the opportunity to return to the real living world. However, making a person alive is not easy for the Nyas people. It involves specific conditions that must be met for an individual to successfully return to life. One of the key elements of the Tuput belief is that the individual possessing this power cannot die from a violent death. It is believed that as long as a person's blood does not spill on the earth, they retain the ability to return from death. If, however, the person's death results in spilled blood, such as in a fatal accident or gunshot wound, this breaks the bond between the spirit and the physical body, and resurrection becomes impossible. What's more, once a person with the Tuput power dies, the entire process is carried out in secrecy. The death is not publicly announced, and only select family members, typically men, are informed. Women and children are excluded from the information, and public mourning is strictly forbidden. This is thought to ensure that the resurrection process is not disturbed. The person is then taken to a private room within their home, where their body remains for several days in seclusion. During this time, the family ensures that no one is aware of the death. After this period of silence and secrecy, the individual is believed to reappear, returning to life in the same physical body. This private process is a deeply spiritual one and emphasizes the connection between the spirit and the physical world. The person becomes alive and comes out of the room as if they were sleeping earlier. They show no signs of decay, and the return to life is considered a natural part of the Tuput process. Once resurrected, they leave the room and rejoin the family, resuming their daily lives without any visible ill effects. To the community, it appears as though the individual had never died. However, one thing has to be made certain. This resurrection is only possible if the news of the person's death remains secret. If anyone outside of the circle of male family members learns of the death, the ritual is said to fail. The belief is that the collective grief of the broader community solidifies the idea of the person's death, making it impossible for their spirit to return. In essence, the shared mourning creates a spiritual finality that the Tuput power cannot overcome. Therefore, secrecy is a key to the Tuput ritual, and it's the reason why women and children are not informed of the death. Women in particular are traditionally seen as more emotionally expressive, and their public mourning could shatter the delicate balance required for the resurrection. In this belief system, any outward expression of grief before the person has returned disrupts the spiritual energy, making it impossible for the soul to re-enter the body. The room where the deceased is placed is also of great importance, removed from the everyday components of the outside world. In some interpretations, this room is blessed or sanctified, further enhancing its role as a spiritual doorway between life and death. The body remains in this room for several days, in a middle state between life and death, awaiting the moment when the soul will return. If the ritual is followed correctly and secrecy is maintained, the deceased will rise and walk out of the room, returning to their life as though nothing had happened. Though they may be physically weak at first, they quickly regain their strength and reintegrate into the family and community, continuing their life as usual. However, if secrecy is broken and the news of the death spreads, the ritual fails and the individual remains dead. The collective belief in their death becomes too strong, preventing the soul from returning. Despite the lack of concrete documentation, many within the community claim to have seen individuals die and return to life. There are multiple stories of individuals who, after having been declared dead, miraculously reappeared in their homes days later, alive and well. Before we continue further, tell us, are you enjoying the video? If yes, please like and share the video and subscribe to our channel to watch more videos on Black Africa. Let's continue now. Outsiders have attempted to investigate the phenomenon. However, their efforts are often met with resistance and even hostility. The community is fiercely protective of its cultural heritage and spiritual practices, and any attempt to probe deeper is seen as an intrusion. That's because the Ngas people believe the knowledge to become alive again is sacred and cannot be shared with everyone. Furthermore, if everyone is told that becoming alive is possible, it impacts the ritual, and making a selected few people alive won't be possible. It is believed that the power of Tuput is not limited to ordinary members of the Nas community, but extends to soldiers and military personnel. Soldiers who are engaged in dangerous battles, such as those fighting insurgent groups in the Sambisa forest, reportedly seek out the Tuput ritual to protect themselves in combat. These soldiers undergo the Tuput ritual in the belief that, if they die in battle, they will be able to return to life and continue their fight. But what's that secret ritual that allows people to come back after death? The actual Tuput ritual is relatively simple in appearance, but is deeply profound in its spiritual significance. The traditional healers or native doctors who perform the ritual prepare a potion, which the individual eats. These traditional healers are not just responsible for resurrection, but also for healing a variety of ailments. They are said to have the ability to cure conditions such as madness, strokes, and cancer, further adding to their respectable status within the community. They communicate with the spiritual world through rituals such as face washing, which enables them to see visions and understand the forces at play. Everything in the Tuput ritual depends on a secret potion. The preparation of this potion is not a process open to the public. The specific ingredients, the method of preparation, and the accompanying chants or invocations that must be recited during its creation are kept secret, known only to the initiates of the Tuput tradition. The potion itself is believed to hold mystical powers, capable of bringing a person back from the dead, but only when it is prepared according to the precise ritual formula. Some minor element is missed, and the person eating the potion won't come back after the death. The ingredients required for the potion are typically gathered from the forest, a place regarded as a spiritual domain in many African belief systems. The forest is thought to house natural elements imbued with supernatural powers, making it an ideal source for the potion's components. Once gathered, the potion is prepared in absolute secrecy, often deep within the forest, far from the eyes of uninitiated individuals. The custodians who prepare the potion know exactly what to do. They are familiar with the specific prayers, chants, and spiritual invocations that are necessary to unlock the potion's resurrection powers. It is believed that these spiritual elements are just as important as the physical ingredients in giving the potion its potency. After the potion is carefully prepared and cooked in the forest, it is brought back to the individual chosen to consume it. The consumption of this potion is a key element of the Tuput ritual. Upon eating the potion, the individual is believed to be infused with the Tuput power, granting them the extraordinary ability to return to life after death. However, this power is not indefinite. It must be activated with each subsequent death. The individual must consume the potion again after each death to ensure their ability to return to life in the future. Therefore, the power of the potion is tied to a specific life cycle. Once a person has come back to life, they must consume the potion again to maintain the connection between their soul and body. Without this potion, the person's death would become permanent. The fact that the person must consume the potion again after each death indicates that the Tuput power is cyclical. It works for a specific period, usually until the next death, at which point the ritual must be repeated. This cyclical nature of life and death within the Tuput belief system mirrors the spiritual worldview of the Nas people, where death is seen as part of a continuum that can be interrupted or reversed through proper rituals and spiritual practices. However, there are other opinions as well on what holds the power of making someone alive after death. In some cases, when a person who had not consumed the secret potion dies, the traditional healer can make them alive using their power. In this case, the elders or traditional healers consume the potion instantly. Once the potion is consumed, the healer is left alone in a secluded, sacred space with the deceased. This room is considered a spiritual environment, free from external interference, and is specifically prepared to allow the healer to focus on their task of guiding the soul back to the body. The healer, by consuming the potion, becomes a conduit, using its power to bring the deceased back to life. This process is deeply symbolic. The healer often holds the hand of the deceased, acting as a bridge between life and death. Through this gesture, the healer summons the spirit of the individual back to their body, enabling them to rise again. What makes the Tuput ritual so powerful and profound is its contrast to typical notions of mystical resurrection practices. Unlike rituals that involve extreme or potentially harmful procedures, like physical incisions, body markings, or other dangerous rites, the Tuput resurrection relies entirely on the power of a secret potion and the deep spiritual knowledge of the healer. This simplicity defies the common expectations that such rituals would be complex or even perilous. Many would assume that bringing someone back to life would require dramatic actions, but the Tuput tradition focuses more on the connection between the physical world and the spiritual world. In this belief system, it's the potion that serves as the key element, acting as the bridge that reconnects the body and soul. What do you think? Can there be secret knowledge on how to become alive after dying? Isn't it true that people in every part of the world have tried becoming immortal, but always failed? In the comment section right below, share your thoughts on Africa's connection with mysticism and spirituality that allows beyond explainable events to happen there. Do you want to watch more videos like this one? If yes, subscribe to our channel and press the bell icon next to it. We bring videos on Black Africa, its history, rich arts and culture, and things the world should know about. Thanks for watching, and until the next video, stay tuned.